Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you visualize, affirm, or pray, your deepest desires always seem to hover just out of reach, like a horizon that moves further away the closer you run toward it? Picture this. A woman lights a candle every morning, whispering affirmations about love, health, and abundance. She closes her eyes, imagines every detail of the life she longs for, and for a moment, she feels it. Warmth, certainty, a glimpse of the dream. But when she opens her eyes, the silence of her room feels heavier than before. Days pass, weeks pass, years pass. The rituals multiply, but the dream remains a mirage, distant and untouchable. This is not her story alone. It is the story of millions, maybe even yours. You've tried vision boards, mantras, meditations. You've been told to act as if, to see it until you believe it. Yet, a quiet frustration lingers in your chest, because deep down, something feels wrong. You're doing everything right, but the universe seems deaf to your call. What if the problem isn't you? What if the teachings you've been following are missing the one piece that changes everything? Imagine for a moment that manifestation doesn't flow forward, but backward, that the future you've been reaching for isn't waiting ahead of you, but pulsing right now, like an unseen frequency already surrounding you. This is the paradox no one tells you. Every time you strive to get there, you are sending the universe a silent message: I'm not there yet. And the field mirrors it back with merciless precision. More waiting, more distance, more longing. But what if you didn't have to strive anymore? What if the key was not in chasing the dream, but in stepping inside it, like walking into a room where everything you once begged for is already alive, already yours? The answer lies in a hidden law, one that inverts the very way you've been taught to manifest. A law that doesn't ask you to hope for your future, but to embody its completion now. And once you glimpse this reversal, you'll understand why some lives shift overnight, while others stay trapped in the endless cycle of desire. And here's the mystery that changes everything. The universe never waits for you to become ready. It responds the instant you claim the ending as your present. So the real question is, what happens when you dare to stop desiring and start embodying? Have you ever noticed how life whispers to you in ways you can't quite explain? Perhaps you keep waking up at the same hour every night, 3:33 a.m., staring into the darkness with a sense that something is trying to reach you. Or maybe while scrolling through your phone, you see repeating numbers, 1111, 2222, 4444. They appear on clocks, receipts, license plates, so often it almost feels like the universe is playing with you. Then there are the dreams, not just ordinary dreams that fade with the morning light, but the ones that repeat, carrying the same symbols, the same places, the same faces, that seem to follow you across nights. A locked door you can't open, a stranger staring into your eyes, a storm that never reaches land. You wake up with your heart racing, wondering why these images haunt you. Deep down, you sense that they mean something, but no book or teacher has given you a clear answer. Or maybe it comes in your body, a sudden shiver when nothing around you is cold, a wave of heaviness in your chest before walking into a place, as if your heart knows something your mind can't yet explain, a tingling in your hands when you think of someone far away, only to discover later that they were thinking of you at that very moment. We're told to dismiss these things. It's just coincidence. You're imagining it, but in your bones you know better. You feel that every sign, every repetition, every sensation is part of a hidden dialogue. The universe speaks in a language beyond words, symbols, frequencies, vibrations, and those who pay attention are never the same. Think about the moments when you ignored those whispers, that job you accepted even though your gut told you not to. That relationship you clung to, despite the warnings you saw in your dreams. Only later did you realize you had been told all along. The signs were there, but you brushed them aside, thinking you were being too sensitive. Now ask yourself, Why do these signs grow stronger when you're most lost, most uncertain, most desperate for clarity? Because the language of the invisible is designed to reach you when logic fails. When the path you're on feels clouded, the field around you begins to light up with signals, almost begging you to look closer. Some call it synchronicity, others call it intuition. But what if it's something far more precise? What if it's not random at all, but a structured communication from the quantum field itself? A coded reminder that reality is not as linear as you were taught. Imagine your life as a book already written in countless versions. Every possible outcome exists, waiting to be chosen. The signs, the numbers, the dreams, the sensations are like bookmarks left by your future self, pointing you to the path where your soul has already arrived. They're not accidents, they're coordinates. And here is where the mystery deepens. The more you chase these signs with desperation, the more elusive they become. But when you begin to notice them with quiet reverence, when you allow them to unfold instead of forcing meaning, they multiply. It's as if the universe only speaks clearly when you are still enough to listen. Have you ever considered that the frustration you feel, the endless waiting, the unanswered prayers, the dreams that never seem to come true, might all stem from misunderstanding this language? That perhaps all along, reality hasn't been ignoring you, but reflecting you, mirroring the very frequency you broadcast. And if that's true, then one question becomes impossible to ignore. If the universe is always speaking, always signaling, always mirroring, what exactly is it trying to tell you right now? There's a reason why the same signs keep appearing in your life, numbers repeating, dreams recurring, inner sensations echoing like a hidden drumbeat. The first great spiritual secret is this: the universe does not speak in words, it speaks in patterns. And the most powerful of these patterns is repetition. When you see 11:11 glowing on a clock, it is not simply a time of day, it is a doorway. For centuries, mystics, prophets, and even ancient mathematicians believed that numbers carry frequencies, vibrations that shape reality. Pythagoras, the father of mathematics, said that numbers rule the universe. The Bible, too, is filled with numbers charged with hidden meaning. 40 days in the desert, 7 seals of revelation, 12 tribes of Israel. These are not random. They are codes, anchoring divine truth into human history. So when a number follows you, when it stalks you across your days, it is the same as a whisper from the divine. Pay attention. You are being guided. Think about the number 3. You wake up at 3:33 in the night, heart racing, the silence around you almost unbearable. In Christian mysticism, 3 is the symbol of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Spirit. But in ancient cultures, it also symbolized creation itself: birth, life, death, past, present, future. Seeing it repeatedly is not a coincidence. It is a reminder that you are standing at the edge of a cycle, about to step into a new one. Or consider the number 7. For the Hebrews, 7 was perfection, the divine completion of creation. For the ancients, 7 was the number of the heavens, the planets, the sacred days. If you keep seeing 7s, the field is not mocking you, it is confirming. You are aligned with the divine process, even if your eyes cannot yet see it. But here is where the hidden meaning deepens. These numbers are not just outside signals, they are reflections of your own state of being. The field mirrors back your vibration, and repetition is its way of making sure you cannot ignore it. If the dream keeps returning, it means the message has not yet been integrated. If the numbers haunt you, it means your spirit is already vibrating at the frequency they represent, and your reality is bending to reflect it. This is why so many people feel a strange mix of fear and wonder when signs appear. Part of you knows this is not ordinary. Part of you resists because it feels like stepping into forbidden territory. But here lies the truth that most teachers will not tell you. These signs are not external omens. They are proof that your consciousness is already touching the quantum field, collapsing possibilities into form. Imagine the ancient prophets. Daniel saw visions in his dreams, symbols of beasts and kingdoms. John, on the island of Patmos, saw numbers and seals, a cosmic code written across his visions. These were not just apocalyptic warnings. They were glimpses into the same universal pattern that visits you today through your clocks, your receipts, your restless nights. The divine has always spoken through symbols because symbols bypass logic. They strike the soul directly. And what about your body? That sudden chill in a warm room, that pressure in your chest before making a decision. These are the oldest signs of all. Long before there were books or scriptures, the human body was the first sacred text. Priests and shamans knew this. They trained themselves to listen to the trembling of the skin, to the fire in the belly, to the visions behind closed eyes. Your body is still speaking in that same ancient language, but modern life has taught you to silence it. The first secret, then, is not just that signs exist. It is that they are a living dialogue between you and the source. The universe is not random, and you are not lost. Every repetition, every symbol, every vibration is proof that reality is bending toward you, trying to catch your attention. And here is the danger of ignoring this truth. When you dismiss the signs, you delay the alignment. The field does not punish, but it mirrors your blindness. That is why some people spend years chasing dreams, never realizing that the dream has been calling them all along. Now imagine if you stopped doubting. Imagine if you treated every repeated number, every symbolic dream, every physical whisper as a sacred code, as real as scripture itself. Your life would change instantly, not because the signs suddenly gained power, but because you finally recognized the power that was always there. This is the moment where knowledge becomes authority. This is where mystery becomes revelation. Because once you understand the hidden language of repetition, you realize you were never alone, never forgotten, never abandoned to chaos. The divine was always speaking. It only waited for you to listen. If these words resonate, take a moment right now. Give this video a like and subscribe, not just as a gesture, but as a declaration that you are ready to step into a deeper circle of knowledge. This is not just content. It is a community, a living sanctuary where hidden wisdom is shared, where seekers become finders, where the language of the invisible becomes clear. And yet, this is only the first layer of the veil, because once you learn to read the signs, the next question will haunt you with irresistible force. Who or what is sending them? There was once a man named Michael, an ordinary schoolteacher from a small town in Ohio. To most, he seemed like everyone else. He woke up early, drank his coffee with 2 sugars, graded papers late into the night, and occasionally dreamed of a life that felt bigger than the one he was living. Yet beneath that ordinary rhythm, he carried a heaviness he couldn't explain. His wife had passed away suddenly 3 years earlier, and since then the world felt muted, as if all its colors had been washed away. He often sat alone at his kitchen table, staring at the empty chair across from him, whispering prayers into the silence. Sometimes he asked for strength, sometimes for understanding, and other times just for a sign, anything that could remind him he wasn't alone. It began with a number. At first, Michael brushed it off as coincidence. Every time he glanced at the clock, it read 11:11. Sometimes on his way to school, he noticed the same digits on passing license plates. At the grocery store, his receipt totaled 11 11s. The number seemed to follow him, almost mockingly. He laughed about it with his students, calling it the universe's favorite joke. But late at night, when the world was quiet, it haunted him. One evening, unable to sleep, Michael reached for his late wife's journal, a book he hadn't dared to open since she passed. As he flipped through the pages, his eyes froze on a passage she had written years earlier. "Every time I see 11:11, I feel like it's a doorway, a moment where heaven brushes against earth. I always close my eyes and make a wish." His breath caught. He felt as if she were whispering directly to him from beyond the veil. That night, something shifted. Instead of treating the number as a curiosity, he began to see it as a bridge. Each time 11:11 appeared, he paused, closed his eyes, and imagined her presence beside him. At first it brought tears, but slowly it began to bring peace. Then came the dreams. In one, he stood at the edge of a wide river, the water shimmering with impossible light. On the other side, his wife waved to him, smiling, her face radiant and unshadowed by pain. She didn't speak, but she pointed to the river itself, as if urging him to see it differently. When he woke, his pillow was damp with tears, yet he felt lighter than he had in years. The following weeks became a tapestry of signs. A song that had been their song played unexpectedly on the radio during his drive home. A butterfly landed on his windowsill in the middle of winter. Students began confiding in him, as if drawn to the calm he now carried. Michael realized the signs weren't just for comfort. They were guiding him toward transformation. One afternoon, walking through the park, he sat on a bench and whispered aloud, "If you're really there, if this is real, show me." At that exact moment, a child nearby laughed, a laugh so pure, so full of light, that he felt his chest crack open. He knew it wasn't chance. It was an answer, clothed in the innocence of a stranger. For the first time in years, Michael smiled without forcing it. He realized the universe had been speaking all along, not with grand miracles, but with quiet repetitions, with numbers, dreams, whispers, and synchronicities woven into his days. He had only needed to pay attention. His life didn't change overnight in the way most people expect. He still taught, still lived in the same small house, but something inside him had awakened. He walked through his days differently, lighter, more open, attuned to a hidden dialogue that made even the most ordinary moments shimmer with meaning. And in that awareness, grief softened, love returned in new forms, and purpose quietly rooted itself in his heart. Now pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever lived something like this? A sign that wouldn't let you ignore it. A dream that repeated until you finally listened. A moment so uncanny it felt like the universe itself was tugging on your sleeve. If so, I invite you to share it in the comments below. Write the number you kept seeing, the dream that visited you, the sign that shook you awake. I read them all, and in future videos I may share your story so that your sign becomes a light for someone else searching in the dark. Because the truth is, Michael's story is not unique. The universe speaks to all of us. The real mystery is, how far are you willing to follow the voice once you realize it's calling your name? If the first secret of the spiritual path is learning to see the language of repetition, the second is something even more intimate, something that touches you in ways you can't dismiss, the secret of intuitive sensations. Unlike numbers or dreams, which you can explain away as coincidence, this sign speaks directly through your body, through whispers of energy that bypass the mind entirely. It arrives as a sudden chill when no wind is blowing, a weight in your chest before entering a room, a surge of warmth when you meet someone new, or that unmistakable tightening in your gut when you're about to make the wrong choice, even if everything looks perfect on the surface. The ancients knew this well. In sacred texts, intuition was often described as the still small voice of God. Prophets didn't always hear thunder or see fire in the sky. They often felt the divine in the subtle trembling of their spirit, in the unease that pressed against their bones, in the peace that rushed through them when they aligned with truth. Modern science calls it the nervous system, but mystics knew long ago, the body itself is a temple of guidance. Think of a moment when you ignored your intuition. Perhaps you entered a relationship that looked ideal on paper, but deep down, your body was screaming no. Or you accepted a job that promised security, even though your stomach churned every time you thought about it. Later, when the relationship broke apart or the job drained your soul, you remembered the warning signs. Your body had spoken, but you hadn't listened. This is the second great secret. Your body is not betraying you with strange sensations. It is guiding you with precise signals. What you call instinct, gut feeling, or even anxiety may actually be the most ancient language of the soul, the same language that prophets, shamans, and seers relied upon to navigate their destinies. But how can you recognize it clearly? Here is a simple technique you can begin right now, one that requires no special tools, no mystical training, only your willingness to pause and listen. The next time you face a choice, any choice, big or small, stop and close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath. Imagine holding option 1 in your hands. Feel its weight, its energy. Now pay attention to your body. Does your chest feel light or heavy? Does your breath deepen or shorten? Do you feel a subtle expansion, like your spirit leaning forward, or a contraction, as if your body wants to retreat? Then release that image and repeat the same with option 2. Again, notice your body's first reaction. Not the thoughts that come after, but the first flicker of sensation. That flicker is the signal. Expansion is a whisper of alignment. Contraction is a whisper of warning. You can apply this even in the smallest daily decisions: which route to take home, whether to make a phone call, how to spend your evening. The more you practice, the clearer the signals become. At first, you may doubt yourself. Was that really my intuition, or just my imagination? But over time, patterns emerge. You'll see how often your body is right. Here's an even simpler daily practice. Each morning, before stepping into your routine, place your hand over your heart and ask quietly, "What do I need to know today?" Then notice the first image, word, or sensation that arises. Don't analyze it. Don't dismiss it. Just hold it in your awareness. You will be amazed how often that subtle signal reveals itself in the hours to come. This technique works because your intuition is not separate from the quantum field. It is the receiver of frequencies, the antenna of your soul. Just as radio waves are invisible until tuned, guidance is always present, waiting for you to adjust your inner dial. The encouraging truth is this: anyone can do this. You don't need years of training or special gifts. You were born with this compass inside you. It's been speaking since the day you entered this world. Every shiver, every sigh, every sudden peace is part of its vocabulary. All you need is the courage to take it seriously. And here's where the power deepens. When you begin to trust these sensations, when you stop dismissing them as irrational, your life begins to flow differently. The wrong paths close gently before you. The right ones open almost effortlessly. Opportunities appear as if summoned. Relationships shift toward harmony. It feels like magic, but it is simply resonance, the alignment of your inner signals with the quantum field itself. Now pause for a moment. Think of a time when your body warned you or blessed you with sudden peace, and you ignored it or followed it. What happened? How did it shape your path? Write it in the comments below. Your testimony may be the exact message someone else needs to hear tonight. Yet as powerful as this secret is, there is one even deeper. A sign that does not come through numbers, nor dreams, nor even the whispers of your own body. A sign so profound and mysterious that few dare to speak of it openly, though it is hidden in the oldest traditions and sacred texts. And once you recognize it, you may never see your life the same way again. What is this hidden sign, and why has it been guarded for so long? There is a sign more profound than numbers, more intimate than dreams, more direct than even the whispers of your body. It is not something that appears outside of you. It is something that seizes you from within. It arrives in the moments you least expect, when the ordinary world suddenly cracks open and you are flooded with a sense of presence so vast, so undeniable, that your breath catches and your heart trembles. Mystics throughout the ages described it as the Great Silence. The Desert Fathers of early Christianity said it came in a moment when prayer dissolved into stillness and the soul was engulfed by divine fire. In esoteric traditions, it was called gnosis, the knowing that is beyond knowledge. Modern science calls it coherence, a sudden alignment between brain and heart, where the body becomes a perfect antenna for the field. What is this sign? It is the sudden awareness that you are not separate, that the boundary between you and the universe was always an illusion. It is the overwhelming recognition that the same light that burns in the stars burns in you. It does not come with trumpets or flashes of lightning. It comes in a still moment when, for no reason at all, tears fill your eyes and you know, I am home. I am already what I was searching for. This is the deepest sign of all: oneness. Think back to times in your life when this brushed against you. Maybe standing at the edge of the ocean, when the waves roared and you felt both infinitely small and infinitely held. Maybe at the birth of a child, when the cry pierced the air and you knew you were witnessing something sacred. Or perhaps during grief, when pain stripped away your defenses and through the crack love poured in. These are not fleeting emotions, they are thresholds. They are the universe shouting through silence, wake up. You were never alone. You were always part of me. And here is the revelation most avoid, because it is too overwhelming, too beautiful, too terrifying. When you feel this oneness, you are touching eternity. Time dissolves. Past, present, future collapse. For a moment, you stand where prophets stood, where saints wept, where the quantum field reveals its greatest secret. All realities, all outcomes, all lifetimes are happening now. You are not becoming, you are remembering. This truth is not easy to carry. Society teaches you to separate, to measure, to strive. But this sign teaches you to surrender, to collapse, striving into being. And once you taste it, nothing else satisfies. Pause with me for a moment. If this resonates with your soul, I invite you right now to subscribe and like this video. Not because of algorithms, not because of numbers, but because this space we are building is more than a channel. It is a community of seekers, bound not by profit, but by passion. Every subscription is a flame added to this fire. Every like is a signal that the hunger for truth is alive. Together, we become a circle, a hidden sanctuary where what was once forbidden can finally be spoken. Now let us return to the sign. Why is oneness the deepest revelation? Because it is the end of fear. When you know that the same current flows through all things, death loses its terror, loneliness dissolves, even suffering becomes transformed, for you see that behind every shadow, light is pulsing, waiting to be revealed. The prophets spoke of this when they said, "In him we live and move and have our being." Yet the mystics echoed it when they whispered, "I am in the Father, and the Father is in me." Quantum physics hints at it with the strange phenomenon of entanglement, where two particles, separated by vast distances, move as one beyond the limits of space and time. This is not metaphor, it is the architecture of reality, and when the sign of oneness erupts in your soul, you glimpse the blueprint of creation itself. Some resist it. They call it delusion, emotion, fantasy. But those who have tasted it know. And once you know, you cannot unknow. The universe itself will not let you go back to sleep. But here lies the final mystery. If oneness is the ultimate sign, then why does it come to some in fleeting moments and to others as a permanent state of awakening? What makes the difference between a glimpse and a transformation? The answer is hidden in the final secret, the one that binds all others together. A secret so powerful, it turns fleeting moments of revelation into a lifelong state of alignment. And once revealed, it may become the key you've been searching for your entire life. All along this journey, from the quiet whispers of numbers repeating in the shadows of your days, to the dreams that refuse to fade with the dawn, to the signals etched deep in the body and the shattering revelation of oneness, you have been shown that life is not random. Every sign is a thread. Every whisper is a thread, and together they weave a tapestry designed not to confuse you, but to awaken you. The truth is simple, though it feels too extraordinary to accept. The universe has been speaking to you all along, not in thunderclaps or grand gestures, but in the delicate repetition of moments, in the symbols that pierce through routine, in the sensations you cannot explain. These are not fragments, they are a language, a divine alphabet written across your existence. Why? Because you are not here merely to survive. You are here to awaken. You are here to remember that you were never separate, never abandoned, never drifting aimlessly in a silent cosmos. The signs remind you that you belong to something infinite, something ancient, something that has been waiting patiently for you to open your eyes. Think about it. How many times did you brush off a dream as just a dream, only to realize later it carried truth? How many times did you feel a weight in your chest before a decision, and only afterwards understood it was your soul trying to guide you? How many times have you seen repeating numbers, or felt the strange comfort of an invisible presence and wondered if you were imagining it? You weren't. Every moment of doubt, every spark of wonder, every tingle of intuition has been part of the same song, the song of awakening. And today, by being here, by listening, you have taken a step deeper into that song. This is the purpose of the signs, not to frighten you, not to confuse you, but to call you back to yourself. To remind you that the world is alive with meaning, and that you are an essential part of the great unfolding. You are not a bystander in creation. You are a co-creator, collapsing possibilities with every choice, every thought, every breath. And now the invitation is clear. Live differently. Walk through your days with eyes open, ears attuned, heart receptive. When the numbers repeat, pause. When the dream returns, listen. When the body trembles, honor it. When silence overwhelms you with presence, surrender. In these moments, you are being spoken to by the infinite. This is where your personal journey connects with something greater. You are part of a circle of seekers across the world, each one tuning into the same frequency, each one awakening to the same truth. Together, we are forming a hidden community, a sanctuary where the unseen becomes seen, where the forbidden becomes revealed, where the forgotten becomes remembered. And because we are building this community not for profit, not for spectacle, but for passion, for love, for the call of awakening, I ask you to support it. If this message touched you, take a moment right now. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and step fully into this circle. Each gesture strengthens the fire we are tending together. But there is one more thing. I want to hear from you. Yes, you. In the comments, write your name and the city you are watching from. Share a sign you've experienced, a number, a dream, a sensation, a moment of wonder. In the next video, I will mention some of you by name, honoring your journey, your testimony, your light. Imagine hearing your own name spoken aloud as part of this growing family, as a reminder that you are not invisible, that you are part of something alive and radiant. And now, let us end as we began, with mystery, because the signs you've discovered here are only the beginning. There are deeper layers, greater revelations, truths so profound that they can only be uncovered when you are ready. And I promise you this, what is coming next will not just change the way you see the universe, it will change the way you see yourself.